This is Quideo number 5, advanced question. The advanced question says, for each of the following situations, state whether a type 1, type 2, or neither error has been made, and then explain it briefly. A says, a bank wants to see if the enrollment on their website is about 30% based on a small sample of customers. It tests that the null hypothesis is p equals 0.3 versus the alternative hypothesis is p is greater than 0.3, and it rejects the null hypothesis. Later, the bank finds out that the actual 28% of all customers enrolled. So I said that this was a type 1 error because the actual value is not greater than 0.3, but they rejected the null hypothesis anyways. Down at the bottom, you can see that I defined the type 1 and type 2 errors. Type 1 is an incorrect rejection of a true null hypothesis or a false positive, and type 2 error is a failure to reject a false null hypothesis. I also stated when to reject the null hypothesis and when to fail to reject. You reject the null hypothesis when our statistical analysis shows that the significance level is less than our cutoff, and you fail to reject a null hypothesis when the significance level is above the cutoff. B says a student tests 100 students to determine whether other students on her campus prefer Coke or Pepsi and finds no evidence that preference for Coke is not 0.5. Later, a marketing company tests all students on campus and finds no difference. I said that this was no error because 0.5 is the actual value that there is no evidence that 0.5 is not the actual answer that both things got. So this was not rejected because when tested by the marketing company, they did not get a difference value from when the student tested the 100 students. C then says a pharmaceutical company tests whether a drug lifts the headache relief rate from the 25% achieved by the placebo. The test fails to reject the null hypothesis because the p-value is 0.465. Further testing shows that the drug actually relieves headaches in 38% of people. I said this was a type 2 error. The null hypothesis was not rejected even though it was false. The true relief rate was greater than 0.25.